And then the Obama effect. So, and this is on both sides of the story. I mean, certainly it's a hell of a lot better than Bush. Obama is. I mean, there's no doubt there. I still tend to think he's lying about his religion. He couldn't have grown up in a secular world like I think he did and believed the way he purports to believe. But okay, I think he probably has to. And he's done some good things. He's obviously met with secular groups at this point. His acceptance speech was not bad. Certainly helped a little bit. The quote here is from a speech that he did in Turkey. And so again, it's a president trying to get along with a country that's a different religion. But he certainly backs it up, saying that we're not Christian. We're not a Christian nation. Or any one of these. And I like the last statement. We're a set of citizens bound by ideals. That's really good. Right? And then I like Newt Gingrich. So he says Obama's intensely secular and anti-religious, which certainly isn't true. But he meant this obviously as a criticism. In case there's any doubt. But I mean, it's nice to see. But then there's another side to this. So then we get to the National Day of Prayer, right? So the Freedom for Religion Foundation, which is at FRF, won this case on April 15th. Unfortunately, the judge stayed the execution of this. So this year it still applied, and partly because she knew there was going to be appeals, right? And there's going to be a big fight about this. And certainly FFRF needs any help they can get to fight this. And it's a good thing, and it's exactly what they do best. And so there's already a notice of appeal. But this proclamation by Obama was signed. So, I mean, he certainly stepped in and said, yes, I'm signing this as there is a National Day of Prayer, and I'm supporting this.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's another one that has to play this fine line, right? He has to be elected, and he has to be there in order to do these good things, and yet, if he comes out too severely against this stuff, he won't get elected again. It's this pendulum going back and forth, and we have to be a little bit careful about it and get there slowly, I think. So are we in a post-Christian America? This was a survey in 2009, right? And there's some good stuff in here. The percentage of self-identified Christians is falling. Excellent. That's a good thing. The number of Americans who claim no religious affiliation is doubled, which is what we saw earlier in the statistics. That's great. The third bullet was the most interesting and the most scary to them. Because the religious kind of center of the country was the Northeast for all of this time. And in this survey that came out in 2009, it was the Northeast of the country that had the biggest change and had become much less religious. It's not that they had become anti-religious, at least that they were no longer the center of religion. They were no longer defining things. There's this quote by this one preacher. It says, "The most basic contours of American culture have been radically altered. The so-called Judeo-Christian consensus of the last millennia has given way to a postmodern, post-Christian, post-Western cultural crisis which threatens the very heart of our culture." Hooray!
Yeah.
The document that this guy was writing and using these statistics, it was a call to action to the religious organizations. Clearly, the pendulum has swung. And I mean, I don't know how many. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. To go back to your previous bullet, the Northeast
the
emerged
bullet?
in 2008. No, I'm sorry. The last bullet here.
Yeah.
The Northeast emerged. What then are they thinking now is the new center of?
Well, no, the Northeast emerged as the center of kind of the not religious, right? And it was the Pacific Northwest. If you look at, I think I have a picture of that somewhere. Oh, maybe not. I may not have ended up. So if you look at a kind of a picture of the United States with kind of colors based on how religious the areas are, you should pay attention to the Pacific Northwest. Northern California, Oregon, and Washington, there's very little out there. And they're just not very religious at all. They just don't care. The West does. And the Northeast is like solid, or it used to be. And it's really dropped a great deal, the Northeast has. And that's all they're saying is it was kind of the center of kind of the Christian movement in a lot of sense. I mean, outside of Colorado Springs and a few places like that.
So gauging the pervasiveness of religious beliefs across the country, it's not evenly spread?
Oh, no, not at all. Okay. Yeah, not at all. And look at Texas.
There's another map which deals mainly with the fundamentalists, which is called the old Bible Belt,
Yeah.
which talks about the kind of the border states, the Tennessees, and then going down into the deep South, the Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, that kind of thing. That's been called the Bible Belt. We're kind of on one end of it there, a little bit there. Western Iowa kind of takes up the look, but that's another map
It is, yeah.
of the religious
If
world.
you look at the fundamental side.
Yeah, if you just look at the fundamentalists. Yeah.
So the quote down here at the end, has anybody watched Dobson's farewell speech? Has everybody know who Dobson is?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Dobson was the founder and kind of the head of Focus on the Family in Colorado Springs for a long time, and a huge public image for the fundamentalist side. And he gave a farewell speech when he quit there. And he basically ended up, this quote it was not exactly, but this came from a UK Telegraph article about that. He's basically saying they've lost. And it was another call to action to the religious to step up. But certainly there are people out there that think that they have. So I'm going to move through these last few pretty quickly because I think we've got kind of out of time.